Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I have a fun fold for you using the modern label punch that is back in stock right now. I've been waiting the whole mini catalog, I think, for that. So look how fun this fun fold is. I was inspired by a card by Julie Davison, who was inspired by Julie Mazur, M-A-Z-U-R. So the circle of crafting goes around. So I want to show you how easy this is to make here, but I want to show you the fun stamp set. Not fun, I'm saying beautiful, elegant, awesome. It's called the Flowers of Beauty bundle, and it has these two-step stamping in them, and you can also two-step stamp the flowers and the leaves and this long floral thing. I'm not sure what flowers these are. And you can also stamp lighter and then darker on here, and you can die cut all of those things. Plus you have these extraneous dies here that cut out like on the front of the card that I did, so you can die cut the image here, this image out, but you can also have these extra ones. And I like that this one would fill up the whole portrait style of a card, and then you can cut out your leaves and your flowers. So I used the sentiment from this nice stamp set, and I say nice because it is simply said. It has just what you need. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is kind of like plain. But then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh no, it kind of goes cute together. It's just perfect. So since this stamp set, the Flowers of Beauty, does not have a sentiment with it, this is a perfect one to match it up. Now the paper I used on this card is this beautiful paper here. And this is the Unbounded Beauty 12 by 12. It's got the all the new ink colors in it. You've got the Summer Splash, that kind of coastal cabana-y type color, Summer Splash, and it's got the Shy Shamrock. It's got Peach Pie in here. It's got Petunia Pop. Look at those beautiful blooms there. And it has got Pretty in Pink. And I think I named them all. So what I did is I decided to use the Pretty in Pink card base. I think this literally is my favorite pink we've ever had, and I'm so glad they brought it back. It's just such a true, beautiful pink. And so I decided to pair it with the Petunia Pop because that beautiful purpley pink color just goes so pretty with this pink. And the DSP had the pink in it with the white details of the leaves on there, so that's why I put this die cut on here. So let me show you how we are going to make this cutie pie. So I have all of my stuff here. You're going to start out with a card base, a half sheet of your cardstock. This one is 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. So that was just, you know, a half sheet of an 8 1/2 by 11. That's going to be our card base. Now this folding mechanism here is going to be 4 inches, just like your normal inside of your card, but the folding mechanism is going to be 9 1/2, and then we're still going to score it like we would at 5 1/2, but we're also going to score it at 7 3/8, and that's going to give us that little fold flap there. So whenever you go to score your 9 1/2, you're going to score it at 5 1/2 and then at 7 3/8. So one little notch before the 7 1/2. And so that is going to be going on the inside of our card. But before we put it in there, let's just go ahead and stamp something pretty here. As you can see, I used that beautiful kind of bloom there. So I decided the easiest way for me to do this was to use the darker color first. So when you first look at the stamp set, I had to sit there and think, okay, wait, so this is the lighter. So this would be lighter. This is darker because it has the outline on it. So just trust me on that one. So I decided to do the darker one first, and that was more of the outline image. And so I'm going to ink up that image. And I I'll just wipe this off. I'm just gonna stamp that right in that section, making sure I get the top of it on my card. Okay, that's the Petunia Pop. Okay, then I'm going to use my Pretty in Pink. And I want to tell you, this color is one of our older ones, and it's an older ink pad, but I want to show you that it works just fine. So I'm using the color, just, if you get a new ink pad, you should get a new re-inker, they say. I still have that re-inker there. So then I just come back and I match up the leaves and then stamp the lighter one on that darker. Hopefully you can see how pretty that looks. Kind of hard to see on camera, but I wanted to show you, let me see if it's over here. When I was playing around, when I first played around with it, I didn't get it perfect. It was a little bit off, but that still looked really pretty there. So if you can see that, it's really off here, but here I got it lined up. So I thought that was really pretty. So that is going to be the inside of our card. So let's just go ahead and put that on the inside of our card. Now we only have to adhere this part of it to the card, because the other part is going to be that floating mechanism there. So you're going to fold it here. I'm going to turn my card this way so that I can see this edge, because this is the edge your eye is going to catch. So just have that same 1/8 inch border on the side and the top and the bottom, and that is going to be the way it opens, like that. Okay, so now let's work on this front. So I'm just going to open it up this way. You've got 5.5 to work with here, and that is what we're going to do with this DSP. This has a really pretty floral on the back too. Probably could have used that as well, but I just really like the pink. But I know if I end up making this card in class, there will be many card makers who will like using that floral side. So I am just going to put it, you know what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to put it just about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why we're doing that. Because we're going to go ahead and punch out this oval. On this card, I made this 1.5, and it made me have to cut through a little bit here, and I didn't. I'm going to try it this time making this 2 inches. So 2 inches high by 5.5. This was 5.5, and this was 1.5. You do get a little bit more paper out of your DSP, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on here, and you can pick wherever you want to do that. Okay, so I'm kind of keeping my eye to see. I'm hoping that I'm right about in the middle there, kind of looking to see that it's, you know, we're just taking a little chance here. Is that good? Okay, now we only have to punch through. We only had to punch through the DSP and the cardstock because it was a little, and then you have this little piece left over you can do something with. And that was okay that it's not perfect on each side. Better that it wasn't right here. I got a little bit of like scratchy, I call it scratchy. It just was a little bit not cooperating with me there. So now we're going to go ahead, and I notice I have a little bit of a hang off over here. So I'm going to gently cut that off very easily there. Okay. And I say gentle because my hand gets a little heavy, and then I end up cutting into the cardstock, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find one of my glues that has got some good gluing into it, and I'm going to find a little piece of scratch white to get this glue started. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bead of glue right along the edge of the DSP. And that little bead is where I'll put just a 1/4 strip a 1/4 inch by 5.5 strip of the Petunia Pop. I was playing around with the, you know, tone on tone and stamping off with the Petunia Pop, and it was a little too dark for me. I liked the light, the two-tone with the 2 colors there. So I went ahead and stamped my flowers in the light petal pink, and then added the, you know, the border of it was the Petunia Pop. So there we go. So we've got that border there, and it adds that second color into there. You could have left it without these here, but I did like it that way. Okay, so we are going to pull out our white die cut, and then our 2 blooms, and then I have a little guy here too. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I have my, where is it? Okay, I just put it over here so I have my mat here, my craft mat, silicone mat. I'm just gonna put some glue on the bigger portions of this die cut. There we go. Maybe a little here too. And then I'm gonna put that on this side of the card. And it's kind of nice because that white pops off of the pink and the petunia. Okay, and then these are going to go on here as well, but let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. So I've got a piece of white in my little envelope. Where'd that little envelope go? I did have that little clear envelope, but it doesn't matter. I can get a piece of white pretty easily here across the room there. Okay, so I decided to use a different sentiment. I'm going to use the Petunia Pop, and I'm going to make this card just a note. So I'm going to stamp my just a note. I'm going to put that stamped right there, and then I'm going to cut it out with the modern label punch, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it right in the middle. Now if I wanted to, I could pull this over and do some stamping. Ooh, maybe I should. Maybe I should do, I could do that. I could put a flower over there. I would say, let's try that, okay? Let's see, what if we put the just a note here, and then we stamped a flower here, and then we put our flowers on here, but we also put a flower over here. What do we think? I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. Okay, so let's just try. And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up posting this and getting you guys to tell me what you like the best. So I'm gonna stamp that again, just a note, just giving you an idea if you have a sentiment. And you could use your hexagon punch on this one. You could use a circle punch, whatever punch. So I'm gonna keep it right in the middle. I don't mind a lot of white space this time, but I am going to play around with this other one. So what we're going to do is close this up, and we're going to only put adhesive on this open section here. And I find the glue works well because you know exactly where it's going to go. So we put our just a note, knowing that this card is going, whoop, I opened it up too soon. Hold on a second, kids. I didn't let it dry yet. You know, with glue, you got to give it a little bit of time, okay? So there is the label. And we just want to kind of put a little more fun on here. So what I'm going to do is stamp this little posy. Just going to put that down here. And then I'm going to grab the pink, put some ink on there, and let's see, is that the way it goes? I think so. We've got some color on the inside of the card there. We'll close this back up and put some dimensionals on the back of these flowers here. And see, when your card is closed, you can put this a little bit. I guess I'm putting it right there because if I pull it off, it's going to pull off my white there. Okay, close your card there. There we go. Excuse my cough there. We're going to put another flower, say there. And then we have this little guy. And you can put a dimensional on this one, a big one. Okay, and close that up and make sure that dimensional doesn't hang over there. Okay, so we've got that card made like that. I use these gorgeous, I think these are gonna be like one of my favorite embellishments. I'm gonna have to buy multiple packs of these because they are just gorgeous. And I'm going to pull off and put a pretty little petunia pop there. And then I'm going to play around a little more with a couple more petunia pop. And if you don't have petunia pop, you could just use the pink. You could use, there we go, and just have a little bit there. Now I'm going to show you a little thing because whenever you're doing these die cutting around here, my little trick, I'll show you, and if this is the 15th, 100th time that you've seen this, I still do this at classes, and my girls still say, why are we doing this? But it helps you be able to get a good cut. I make a negative and I just die cut a regular one. Then when you come over here and you put the negative on there and you tape it down, you can see that you can actually see that white space around it. Then all you have to do is stick the die in there, make sure it's secure in there, and you can even put another little piece of temporary tape there. When you run it through, you're going to get a perfect cut. You're going to get that perfect white around there. Sometimes, you know, I end up getting it the first time, but if I do it this time, every time I know I have that white rim around it because it's hard to see the die around the stamped image. So that's my little trick, a tidbit of wisdom for you today. And so there you go, cute card. Oh, I wanted to put a sentiment on the inside. So I was going to put thinking of you, just a note, thinking of you. So I love this font. It's just a nice type written one and is stamping very nicely. I'm going to put that on the inside of this card, right in the middle, hopefully straight. Thinking of you. You could also, if you wanted to, stamp a few more flowers, but I think that putting the flower right here on this piece, the card I did see it had designer series paper in here, but this way you've did some pretty stamping when they open that up. They see the stamping that kind of goes with the card on the outside. And this white here of this die cut kind of mimics the white that's in that designer series paper. So make sure you take a look at that Flowers of Beauty. It's a real pretty one. Actually, to tell you the truth, on my first pre-order, I didn't order this because I said, I don't need that. I have flowers, I have this. And I can tell you the second pre-order, it was on there because it really goes pretty with the designer series paper. So don't forget that I have my product shares up. I have the DSP and the ribbons and the embellishments, and that you can get it all together in one bundle. And you can also get an add-on of the DSPs of all the color families, the old in colors, the new in colors, and then our brights, regals, subtles, and neutrals. The paper is so pretty. And you can also sign up for the Busy Bee Bag, the May 2024 Busy Bee Bag. I am featuring a new stamp set that's going to be coming out, and that is the Spotlight on Nature, that has these awesome circle dies with all kinds of die cuts into them. And the Spotlight in Nature is going to be the stamp set that I'm going to feature on the cards that I make. You get $20 to $25 worth of product in your kit, and then 8 cards with the envelopes, and then you get a video and a PDF instructions. To make the cards, you do not need the Spotlight in Nature stamp set. You can do any dies and stamps that you have at in your craft room. So I really work hard to make cards that, like, if this was the card I had made for the Busy Bee Bag using this stamp set, you could easily swap out the punch. You could swap out the sentiment. You could swap out these flowers for other ones. So I think you should try it. It is really fun. I really get excited when I design them, and I hope that you take a chance and order a Busy Bee Bag. So don't forget, opening of the catalog is May 1st, 2024. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.